Hello and welcome to the BA News Show, your weekly news show every Friday at 5 with your hosts, me, that's Rich, and Tabz.
Hello everybody.
How are we all doing? So, jam-packed show tonight. I think we've got 5 items plus some little bits and bobs we want to discuss. But before we get any further and continue how we would normally on the BA News Show, we'd just like to quick shout out. We're fast approaching in the last few weeks 300 subscribers, and we'd just like a shout out to everyone who's joined the channel. Welcome to the channel, and then as always, thanks to everyone who's joined us on the channel, engages with us, subscribes, likes our videos. We really appreciate all that.
Yeah, we try and get back to every comment on the channel, and it's always great to hear from you. So yeah, thanks so much for your support, everybody.
Absolutely. So, Tabz, what have you been playing this week?
What have I been playing this week? Oh, I tell you what, I think 3 times I've gone to play Bloodborne, which is one of those that's got away from me in the past. Mm-hmm. I did actually start it some time ago, but I just put it down. And I don't know, just partly because we've got our parody song that has a Bloodborne lyric in it. Yeah. And I've always heard great things about Bloodborne and that I need to play it. It's a game you need to experience. So yeah, I'm determined to get it up and running. I've just got past the create a character mode.
So you've done a lot then.
Yeah, not done a great deal. This week has mostly been spent coming down from The Last of Us Part 2, Rich, which will segue nicely to I think what you've been playing mostly this week.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, the weekdays of this week has been pretty busy. So I had busy evenings every night, so I've not managed to play much, but played a big stint of it at the weekend. Thought I was pretty much done. I thought I was there, but there's a bit more to do, and I've not managed to get back currently to playing it. But I'm hoping at least like by the end of this weekend I'll be done, which I need to because, of course, we've got Ghosts coming next week. Woohoo! So anyway, let's crack on with the news. So first up, a new Nintendo Direct. So way back in September the 4th, I believe, 2019 was the last Nintendo Direct, or Nintendo Direct called Nintendo Direct. I think they've done some other bits that
they've done like a mini at one point, and then they've just kind of, Paper Mario Origami King was just slapped out there.
Yeah, that's it. Well, news comes courtesy of Twitter user KeliosFR, who was replying to a post from Grub on social networking site.
Jeff Grubb, just so.
Okay, right,
yeah. Not another avatar, Grubb. Jeff Grubb from VentureBeat.
In response to Grubb's Summer Game Mess schedule, which outlined all the confirmed rumours events being held, Kelios teased a Direct for July. They posted, "You forgot Nintendo Direct in July." So that's interesting. Leaks of claims a big announcement that will be coming in that for how Nintendo plan to honour Mario's 35th birthday, something we've discussed previously on the BA News Show. It does sound like we're eventually going to finally find out what they're doing, and the rumours are that there's going to be remaster treatment of Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and possibly even Super Mario Galaxy, which would be amazing.
It would.
We're hoping for updates on titles such as Breath of the Wild 2. We're both very excited about that. Metroid Prime 4, I know you're excited about that. And potentially Bayonetta 3. And we'll come on to this shortly, but there is some suggestion that with the potential for Breath of the Wild 2 to be delayed from this year, that we may see an official announcement that Mario Kart 9 will take the sort of release window of what was slated for Breath of the Wild 2.
Very much rumour mill territory though, so let's not get carried away.
And then obviously, accompanying every single thing we do about Nintendo, there's potential for more Pikmin stuff, which at this point I've lost all hope that we'll ever see another Pikmin.
I've tried BArcadians to raise some hype in Richard's mind this week, as he's a massive Pikmin fan, but I think at this point you've become so accustomed to the disappointment that arrives with each Nintendo Direct that you're padding the walls now.
Exactly.
Yes. You're getting bracing yourself for disappointment.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so we're told Pikmin 3 Deluxe is heavily rumoured alongside a potential announcement for a Pikmin 4, which would be amazing. And I mean, what will you do, Rich, at this point in time if that news comes in?
Well, firstly, I'd like to say I feel like we were having this conversation like early September last year before the previous Nintendo Direct, but I would just be so happy, especially if it's like dropping today is Pikmin 3 Deluxe. I'll be straight on there. Yeah, so it's interesting, but yeah, I just hope some of this comes through. I mean, I feel like Nintendo's been a little bit quiet in the last few months. Obviously, I know that it's sort of,
coronavirus has had the impact.
There's been a lot going on, and then, to be fair, they've had some good sales with the likes of Animal Crossing and stuff. Maybe they felt like they didn't need to sort of engage with the audience as much to generate hype, but I think maybe now's the time for them to come in. So it would make a lot of sense to me that they come in and do a Nintendo Direct.
The back end of the year looks quiet, doesn't it? And I think they need to, with next gen, the furore around it, the excitement, they need to kind of keep the relevance there.
Absolutely.
Shall I move us on?
Definitely.
So, yeah, you alluded to it there, Rich, but Breath of the Wild 2, we're all extremely excited for this one. And there was some reports this week that came from Game Reactor suggesting that following an interview with the Spanish voice actors behind characters of Rivali and Zelda from the previous game, they made a suggestion almost to say that they've wrapped up duties on the next game. Now, I sent you that earlier in the week, and later on we did actually hear that there's potential for that information being mistranslated, taken out of context. So they've kind of backtracked a little bit, and in fact I think the article that I was reading has been updated. So yeah, a little bit of a storm in a teacup maybe, and nothing to it, but I don't know, they have still alluded, it seems, to working on Breath of the Wild 2 in some capacity. So that tells you, I think normally we expect voice actors to do their work at the end of a game's development, especially localization, to other countries that aren't, you would say, mainstream, so UK translations, American and whatnot. So yeah, that does suggest to me they're quite far ahead. I mean, we want this Christmas 2020 release. We're hearing rumours that it's likely going to be delayed until 2021. But a couple of little tidbits that did excite me, Rich, was to say apparently younger members of the team, and I think this is not necessarily rumour, this is more or less confirmed, have been influenced by Red Dead Redemption 2. So I wanted to get your input on that. What do you think to that?
Well, we have very conflicting views on Red Dead Redemption 2, but I loved that game, so I think if they can take some of the things from that game, some of the outstanding things, and bring it into what was already an outstanding game with Breath of the Wild, you've got a marriage made in heaven. I don't think we're talking graphics here. It must be gameplay mechanics, because I don't think they're going to overhaul Breath of the Wild. I think they'll be using the same engine myself. It's a shame, really. This news broke about the potential for it to be done, and we were super excited, and then to have that taken away the next day or 2 days later, there's a bit of a shame, really. But
almost as bad as Pikmin, isn't it, Rich?
Exactly, that disappointment every time. But
what I did want to say though, Red Dead Redemption 2, I mean, if there's a similarity there, something I would like to pull from it, the kind of random encounters you have in Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah.
Now that would be amazing if they could install something similar to that in Breath of the Wild 2.
So you wouldn't like them to bring across where you have to go and hunt like the perfect badger, and then you take his thing. You wouldn't want them to bring that across.
I would like that actually.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
Even though you hated that bit.
Well, no, you forget. I enjoyed the process. I felt conned because I put in hours of work to skin these animals and get these packs.
Yeah.
And then you bought it. Yeah, at the end of the game for $200 or something silly.
Yeah, when you complete the game, all of those become unlocked and you can purchase them. But anyway,
I was fuming. That was my life cause. But let's get back to it. So yeah, I would love those random encounters putting in, because we know that there has been a bit of a feeling that the Korok seeds were perhaps a little bit of busy work in the end, whereas random encounters with meaning would really give some better texture to the exploration. And
especially if they created side quests as well.
Yeah, if they spun off into multi-part side quests, it would be amazing. So I mean, just to finally finish off and outline that a bit more, Sabi, a noted Nintendo insider, has apparently suggested that the sequel's development is taking longer than expected, which is what has led to rumours of this potential delay to 2021. So we don't know that for sure. Could still be a holiday release, cross our fingers, but it's all pointing to next year. But Rich, that's me over and out. Do you want to take on the next topic?
So, Xbox Series X event. So we heard in the apparent gameplay reveal, and those who watched that will know that I have that tongue-in-cheek simply because of the fact that there wasn't much actual gameplay. But Microsoft said in that conference that later on in the year they would be showing games from their own studios. Well, it seems that much rumoured date is now been confirmed that it will happen now. It's going to be on July the 5th, and it's going to be...
23rd of July, sir.
Sorry, yeah. It's 23rd of July at 5 p.m. Sorry, I got confused there. Which is, I think, midday Eastern Time, 9 a.m. Pacific Time, and it will be a live stream of Halo Infinite and much more will star in it. And that piece of information comes from Eurogamer. And rumours continue to suggest that Playground Games is working on a Fable reboot. Playground is best known for producing the Forza Horizon games with Turn 10 Studios.
That's right, yeah. You played the old Forza game. I tried to get you into that, didn't I?
Yeah, to be fair, I really liked the original Forza and bought Forza Horizon for the PC. Really enjoyed that, but Fable, very different game.
Yeah, it's like an RPG, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fable, I think. Third-person RPG.
Yeah.
Again, we're not the best people to speak to about Microsoft's back catalogue, but
No.
I was always interested in Fable from when I heard of it. I think some of the other rumours we've got here are that the Initiative is working on a Perfect Dark reboot.
I mean, we would like to see that.
Yeah, I would
We'd
absolutely
really
love
like to see
that.
that.
That would make me think twice about buying an Xbox
Absolutely.
Series X. What else? World's Edge is working on Age of Empires 4.
Very interested in that. Very interested in that, and looking very good actually. From the few bits we've seen of that, I think that's looking very good. I'm very impressed with how graphically that's looking.
Fantastic. And then for me personally, Double Fine. Apparently they're doubling down, excuse the pun, on Psychonauts 2.
Nice.
Now that they've been bought up by Microsoft.
Yep.
I mean, I love Psychonauts, the original. This kind of cool, crazy platforming game. Real kooky though and quirky as you'd expect from Double Fine. I don't actually know if it's an exclusive now to Microsoft and Xbox. You presume it would be.
Uh-huh.
So that is going to be really interesting
Well,
for me.
that's an interesting one in itself because Microsoft games aren't necessarily exclusive to Xbox because nowadays they're sort of blurring the lines and lots of Xbox games come out on the PC.
So we might see them on.
So you could potentially see Psychonauts on the PC, maybe. I don't know.
And just to rush off a few more, we've got Ninja Theory, as we know, working on Hellblade 2, so we might see that. A Forza game is probably likely, considering it tends to be a bit of a mascot, doesn't it? We've seen Gran Turismo 7 with the PS5.
Absolutely.
And then apart from that, there's speculation that Activision might show the next Call of Duty, and that specifically, this was from VentureBeat, all these potential rumours, that we might see Red Dead Redemption 2 appear in the same way as we saw the GTA 5.
Okay, well, that would be a nice way to balance the fact that obviously, PlayStation 5 led with that would be a nice way for Rockstar to balance it out between two companies, because they don't really take sides, do they? They're not really bothered, are they?
And they could end up doing the same for both anyway, and just,
absolutely, yeah.
Just a differentiator.
Yeah, I think the PlayStation 5 getting GTA, I think it has already been confirmed that it's going to come to Xbox Series X, so it wasn't really a scoop there. It's interesting. Yeah. I'm excited. I mean, I'm very hyped for next gen, but I'm not bothered I just like to see more and more of next gen. I want to get the hype.
Completely agree. Yeah, like from a technical standpoint,
absolutely.
I think I'm just going to be, really watching closely. Halo Infinite, for example, is that going to be a real big seller of the next gen technologies, of the performance we're going to see? So I'm going to be watching closely, and there's a couple of games in there for me and you really that might just turn our head.
Absolutely. I mean, the thing for me about all of the next gen that we're currently seeing, we've seen a tech demo from the Unreal Engine 5, which looked amazing, but we've not actually really seen any game footage that's not related to a tech demo that looks as good as that.
And I think we did hear the other day that Microsoft do have access to the Unreal Engine 5. So wouldn't that be amazing if we see a game that's been developed on that?
Absolutely.
Because I don't think we've really seen that yet on the PS5.
Not really, no.
Would be
it's interesting.
But Odin's Beard!
Go.
The next topic is all to do with Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So if you've not seen it, there's a couple of leaked videos now. There's the initial 30 minutes leaked trailer came out, I think, earlier this week. And yeah, certainly I think with Ubisoft's Forward event due July the 12th, this Sunday I think it is,
Yeah.
you know, you would hope we're going to actually see some official trailers. And then there was a following smaller clip released, which apparently focuses on something of a boss fight between the main character. So yeah, I mean, we can launch in straight away, Rich. We were a little bit underwhelmed by what we saw, but there's potential reasons.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I looked at it and thought, it looks like a current generation, you know, Assassin's Creed. I was quite taken back by how rough around the edges it looked, and how it didn't really blow me away. The combat didn't look anything special, I didn't think. But you have said, you know, there's no guarantee that this, apparently this game has been in development for a long time, so this could be like a really early release, this could be a very early part of this game that we're currently seeing, so it's hard to know at the moment, but it did look a bit scrappy, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we don't know what developers' processes are, though. It might be that last bit of polish makes a huge amount of difference, but it did look, you know, potentially at times like PS3 gen.
Yeah, I mean,
very rough.
The other thing to say is that it hasn't actually been absolutely confirmed that this is actually Valhalla, has it?
No.
I mean, it's sort of unspoken that it is.
Yeah.
But you know, this could be anything really.
I certainly don't think they're going to release a trailer though that's based on that particular leak on this Ubisoft Forwards. I think we'll see something nice and polished.
Yeah, yeah.
And hopefully some, you know, a genuine piece of gameplay as well. So I don't think there's need to fret for now, but yeah, no, let's just keep a close eye on it and see how it progresses.
Yeah, and then to be fair, it might be that come this weekend we've got the answer anyway.
Exactly.
Because we can see from some actual gameplay from the Ubisoft upcoming conference that we can see what the score is. So.
And just to balance a bit of our scepticism, I did see a report on this later, smaller clip and this boss fight. Apparently they were quite impressed by it, suggesting that there was multi-stages to the boss fight. I won't spoil things too much, but there was apparently mystical elements, which is relatively new for the series.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, it sounds like, you know, there's stuff to be excited for there. But Rich, do you want to move us on to the next?
Absolutely. So, just when you thought next gen was going to be expensive enough as it was, with expensive hardware, I'm hearing vertical stands that are going to cost £20 extra that are required for the PS5. It turns out games, obviously, are also going to be more expensive.
Richard, you got a sewing kit in the house, mate, because there's a hole in the pocket.
So this comes from 2K Sports announced that it would raise the price of NBA 2K21 by $10 from $59.99 to $69.99 for next-gen video games, and it stands to reason that this would be followed across the board for almost all games developers and studios. I mean, the cost of a movie ticket has steadily increased over the last 15 years, while AAA games have all cost the same. The per employee cost, whether you're a designer, developer, an engineer, QA, part of the audio team, across the board, it's generally trended up, and that comes from
Yoshio Osaki, I would pronounce it.
CEO of IDG Consulting. So it stands to reason that we're going to see games getting more expensive, especially if they're taking even more time to, you know, polish them and get all the assets in. Although we are hearing that it is more cost effective and more efficient currently developing for next gen because of the systems that both Microsoft and PlayStation or Sony have implemented. But yeah, it's interesting. What do you make of this, Tabz?
Well, yeah, that information at the end there, I pulled from a Polygon article, which basically was trying to put the case forward that, you know, video games, the industry as a whole, has not really seen much of an effective inflation over the years. Whereas, as you point out there, you know, movie tickets, certainly we have seen inflation. It's tremendously expensive now to go to the cinema, isn't it? So they're trying to put a case forward to suggest that all the costs behind the scenes are trending upwards.
Yeah.
So there has to be something felt on the end of, well, us, the users, to pay. But then again, you've got to be careful, haven't you? Because in the climate we're in, the economy's just been deeply affected. They need to strike a balance there.
But I mean, I would say for as long as I can remember, games have been $39.99 and $49.99. That's just for as long as you can remember. Like 10 years ago, they were that.
And I'm sure even with the 64, I remember them being like 50, 60 quid when they first came out.
I'm sure. The 64, I specifically remember the cartridge being really expensive.
Yeah.
I don't know for whatever reason, but yeah. So I feel like this is almost like a no-brainer. You sort of think, well, surely it stands to reason that over time they're going to get more expensive. But you are right. They are going to have to tread a fine line between, pricing people out of the market, so to speak, especially, with what's coming down the line. People are going to have to spend significant amounts of money to get into next gen. So,
and this is it. And they've always, some of the bigger companies have said recently, this is what justifies a case for monetization within our games.
Yeah, I mean,
so whilst they can't necessarily, make you spend more, they will layer their games with these monetization techniques to get you to essentially drip feed money into their revenue streams whilst you play these games. And I suppose, maybe there's an argument for that. I don't truly buy it. I'm a bit more sceptical. I feel like, companies are just trying to get...
The trouble is you flog that argument too hard and you're giving the game away and everything's behind a paywall. So you're giving away the product for free and then you're making all of your money through paywalls and then it gets
grotesque. Grotesque salesmanship.
There's only so much you can justify that scenario before it gets out of hand, I think. And we've seen that these things can get out of hand. So yeah, I don't know, it's interesting and I sort of think it seems like a no-brainer that will happen. I mean, I don't know if you remember when the Switch first came out. I think games were $59.99 when that first came out. I remember when I bought Breath of the Wild, I think that was a few days after release, that was $59.99. That seemed to be the price for Switch games. They have come down a bit now, but I just think it's part of the course that they're going to be expensive next-gen games.
It would put me off though. I mean, I think, I'd be looking to buy maybe 2 or 3 games at launch, but, with this as a price, the general price for all games across the next-gen, I think I'd probably buy one less game because of that.
Well,
70 quid is not insignificant, is it?
I don't know what you're like, but very often when I have bought a next-gen console, so you've bought whatever the next iteration is, whether it's a GameCube, a Dreamcast, a PlayStation, whatever it was, you tend to buy some games that you're really excited about, but you tend to end up buying one that maybe you're not so excited about, but it's going to fill some of your time. Yeah, so it might be a FIFA, you might not always buy a FIFA, but you go, well, I'll buy that. Well, is that going to go, well, actually, I won't buy that game to fill my time because it's going to cost me 60 quid. I don't want to spend, I'd rather spend 60 quid on a game that I feel passionate about.
And again, you want people on the console installing, getting that install base early, getting them playing at home.
Exactly.
Getting that hype and excitement building. So they're going to have to be careful with that, but we will have to wait and see. BArcadians, let us know what you think about that in the comments. Love to hear your piece of mind on that.
And we thought we would run an In Other News as an ending piece for this BA News show. So I'm going to start it off with Paper Mario gets 9999 in Famitsu, and Tabz has pre-ordered it.
Yeah, I took the dive on that one. Just for BArcadians who don't know, Famitsu, their format is they have 4 reviewers of each game. So these 9999 scores, that basically 4 reviewers have given it 9 out of 10, which then adds up to 36 out of 40, which is how they actually review games. So it's looking positive. I took the plunge. I'm already potentially regretting it, as I've just said to Rich.
Literally 5 minutes ago, Tabz was saying, I think I could cancel that if it gets review bombed.
But I don't know, I really loved 1000 Year Door. I was a big fan of that game, so crossing my fingers. Next up, we've got Donkey Kong Country coming to Switch as part of their online offering, and that's to launch on July the 15th.
Cool.
I know you're a bit of a fan of that game, I think.
Yeah, Lou, the missus, is very fond of Donkey Kong Country, so I think she might potentially get that. Is that an online only? How does that work?
I think you have to sign up to their online, Nintendo Online for Switch, but and you just get it with that as part of the SNES games, because it has a number of NES and SNES games available.
Oh, that's cool. Watch Dogs 2, anyone that missed out on that, is going to be free on PC this weekend, which is to celebrate, as we've spoken about, Ubisoft's Forward event, which is going to be on Sunday, July the 12th. So that's really cool. Get on there.
Will you grab that?
I think I'll be interested. I did enjoy the first Watch Dogs. I really enjoyed the first Watch Dogs. So maybe, I don't know. So I'm in this difficult time at the minute where there's games being thrown at me left, right, and centre. So
Not enough time.
That's it. Yeah.
And then finally, we've got Sega Toys has announced a miniature version of its iconic Astro City arcade cabinet, complete with 36 games. So, Rich, we can throw the barcade in the bin. The bar top arcade.
Oh, I've seen this. It literally looks like something you would get in a discount store in this country.
Does look a little bit rough, doesn't it? But certainly better than the Game Gear.
Yeah, to be fair, if you were scaling it, it looks marginally better than that. But I still think this looks. I bear in mind I've seen some YouTube people that I've noticed put stuff like, Sega releasing a new console this year and stuff like that, and you think, oh dear, it's not. Yeah, I don't understand the thought process behind it, but maybe it's for a different market that I don't understand.
I have seen some hype out there from a couple. RGT85, I know, is very keen on grabbing it. He's a big fan of, retro arcade games.
Yeah.
And I suppose it comes with 36 games. It looks at least functional. The screen's bigger than your thumbnail, as we saw with the recent Game Gear. So, yeah, it sounds like there's a market, but, maybe not so much for us.
Yeah. Cool, well that sort of rounds off the news. We hope you've enjoyed it this week. There seems to be a lot going on at the moment. Let us know what you're playing maybe. Let us know if you've enjoyed the news. If you're new to the channel and you haven't already, definitely get on there and subscribe. And if you've enjoyed what you've seen tonight, get on there and like. And I think that's about all we've got time for. Another one for the archive.
Stamped and completed.